And,
Hello.
I was gonna say, and we're live, but she's going right into it. All right.
Welcome to our Libertarian Party of Texas candidate highlight. I am Amanda Gibbs, the comms director, and this is Nathan Polsky, who does everything else. And we are with Mike Kolls.
It's Coles, not Knowles. So just
Oh,
anybody,
please,
Kolls.
yeah.
everybody
K-O.
watching, Kolls, no
No,
N
no,
in
no,
there.
no.
No,
K-O-L-L.
Kolls.
Yes.
Did I already mess that up?
Oh,
Yes.
man.
All right.
Okay. Let's start over.
All right. So Mike, so thank you for joining us. Who are you? I've seen your name around a little bit, but I never really got the opportunity to find out who you are. So please tell me who you are and tell all of our voters out there who you are.
Okay. This time I'm running as a candidate for Congressional District 13, which is the city of Denton, all
Okay.
along the Red River and most of the Panhandle. So I'm doing this for the first time. Previously, I ran in District 26 and 7% of the vote.
Oh, good job.
18, I was in District 24 before it got redistricted with the census. So, fifth time candidate. Hopefully, I can build upon a good outcome last time and maybe get a yellow chair in Congress.
Getting a yellow chair anywhere would be amazing. Getting one in Congress can do so much for this country.
For sure. So, Mike, what inspired you to run for political office?
Okay. Um, Prior to 2009, I was well known to be throwing things at the evening news. Very frustrated what was going on. And then the whole Obamacare or Affordable Care Act debate
Mm-hmm.
started happening, and my blood pressure went up. And then the Tea Party came around, and that really got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I like the limited government, financial responsibility, and I saw a reason to stop throwing things at the TV, to get engaged. So that was 2009, and by 2011, I found the Libertarian Party, which is much closer to my small
Mm-hmm.
government, responsible government thinking.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of people that came to the Libertarian Party through the Tea Party itself. So, um, even though it was a Republican-led, whatever you want to call
Endeavor.
it, endeavor, I think overall it was pretty good for the Libertarian Party. It brought us a lot of good candidates, a lot of good people that share the similar ideologies that didn't know we existed before. So, uh, very, very good introduction story there. So then, 2011 is then when you first became a libertarian or first uh, used that nomenclature.
Yeah, I started poking around, trying to figure out where they were, who they were. I got involved because District 24 at the time was Tarrant County and Dallas County, so got to meet some of the people down there. Um, and just did what you do. You meet people, you tell them what you stand, you try and run for office. And by November of 2011, or maybe by December, I was a little bit late to file because you have
Mm-hmm.
to file a year ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed being a candidate in 2012, but made sure I did not repeat that mistake 2 years later for 2014.
Mm-hmm. Great, great. Well, District 13. So you said that runs from Denton County all the way up to the Panhandle. So that's a pretty big. That's a pretty big district. Um,
38 full counties and two partial counties. Yeah.
oof.
Wow.
You're not going out there and driving to each one of those, are you?
Well, I've got to figure out a way to get a hold of those people. I think
Mm-hmm.
from last time I made some contacts in Denton because it's not all of Denton County.
Mm-hmm.
This time it's just the city and the northwest corner.
Mm-hmm.
Last time it was the east and south side of Denton. So some of the name recognition or inroads that are made in Denton County may be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently a citizen of Wichita Falls, so I'm working there. You know, everybody I meet gets a card. Talk politics when I can, and then there's Amarillo, which somehow I've got to talk to some folks there because that's probably the largest city in my
Mm-hmm.
district, and then just do some kind of road show for the other 38 counties.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on my way to Amarillo, show up at a diner for lunch, make sure I talk to everybody, maybe talk to some of the businesses there, and see if there would be a way to get a forum
Mm-hmm.
or some kind of audience 2, 3, 4 weeks later, and then come back and talk to the audience and hopefully introduce them or reaffirm some libertarian thinking in their mind.
Well, that sounds like a fun and exciting trip. And since Amanda here is on our comms team for the state party, it sounds like something that the party can totally
Absolutely
push
promote.
and promote that,
Okay.
and get that information out there to all those counties. So no, I think a lot of those counties are currently unaffiliated with the Libertarian Party,
Yeah, that's what I've found out.
but they're probably all going to be, or primarily, very Republican conservative counties up in that area, I would assume.
Yeah, so
I mean, based off the numbers that I was reading about this district, very much so. It's like 79%.
All right, 79% Republican. So, do you have an incumbent in your race? Is it just a two-way, three-way, four-way?
it's a two-way race, and it's a Republican incumbent.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he served 2 terms, so he's not totally entrenched, but
Mm-hmm.
a newer member of Congress.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was looking at his name. He's been there since 21.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to give his name out. It's Mike
Nope.
Kolls, Ko.
Mike Kolls is the one you want to vote for in November,
Exactly.
not the other guy.
Not the other guy.
All right. Well, so talking about you, and don't want to give his name out, but talking about you and the other guy, what kind of sets you apart? So I know libertarians, we're we can have this very broad spectrum between right and left, conservative, liberal, social, economics, and stuff like that. But you're running in a very conservative district. So what
Right.
sets you apart from your opponent that those Republicans, or I'm assuming most of those Republicans, would want to vote for you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of libertarians don't like to hear that we're financially more conservative than Republicans
Mm-hmm.
and socially more liberal than Democrats. I guess that's kind of old speak.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be my appeal is that financially I would be more conservative. I'm very concerned about the massive federal debt, the out of control spending, which has caused the inflation,
Mm-hmm.
and just the runaway government. We need to be more responsible with taxpayer dollars. To me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
still a taxpayer, so I want to make sure I'm getting my money's worth and that we are servicing the best interest of the United States and the people of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can make inroads there, definitely anti-war. I think we can save a lot of money and be safer in the long run if we are global enablers of peace.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems a better road than building bombs and tanks and destroying other people.
Right. So it sounds like if you had to pick a top three, then so it sounds like war would be one of your top three. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm a list man. I'm a project manager. I gotta get my
Oh,
list and work my way through the
Ooh.
list. So
love list.
I actually have 3 lists that I want to make sure that I share with you during this interview. I want to take a cooler head approach, my principles to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can start the transition with addressing 6 short term issues that if we get some buy in, we can actually start all of them within 1 2 year Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are 3 systemic problems that will take decades in some cases to fix. So I'll just work my way through those lists. If you have questions, please stop me.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you got good information, share it with me. But principles, we all know it's we the people, small government.
Yes.
And that means that we the people are unlimited. We have unalienable natural rights, and the government must get consent from us to do any of the work that it has to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to be full front and center, all times, every conversation. Any conversation would have to say that when we go to take action or make a decision, reason has to be in the driver's seat. We can't take action on whim. We can't be enraged. We can't be emotional. We have to have a detached look to actually consider what's going on and make a rational decision that affects 334 million people. It's about governance. It's never about politics. Politics destroys government. Governance can help people. And then that governance must be as local as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If neighbors can make a decision, we don't need to involve the federal government. If we can solve it at an HOA or city level, the federal government does not need to get involved. Not everything is a federal case. Last of my principles is definitions matter. If we're having a debate on restoring democracy, we better know what democracy means and have that shared vision of what we're talking about. So that's list number one, the principles that I hope to bring to Washington, D.C.
And those are all of your short-term goals that you feel can be tackled fairly quickly.
Nope, that's just the attitude I show up with.
Oh, okay. That's just the attitude you show up with. Even better.
Yep. All right. We'll look at the long-term goals because we need to start building the foundation to get there. Long-term goals are we need to realign with our Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
It is the envy of the world, and we ignore it here at home. We need to remove all legal plunder from federal legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just need to shore up the government. It's too big, tries to do too much, and it does nothing well. So, however we can do that, I think some of the short-term solutions lend themselves to starting the process to realign us with the Constitution, to get rid of all legal plunder, and put the federal government on a big diet. So
if
and
it's
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so
I
if
was
it's
just go ahead. Sorry.
sorry, I was just gonna say, so if it's not in the Constitution, it needs to go.
No, sir. No. The Constitution, if you read the Federalist Papers, talks about a limited government where we, the people, have the seat of power, and our representatives, the republic, is supposed to be about the business of the people, not the business of the government.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see people talking that way again.
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody tell me to read the Federalist Papers today when I had a whole little thing about the Electoral College. And they were like,
Electoral College is brilliant. They were way ahead of their time.
well,
Repeal Amendment number 12, and we'll get back to it.
Which one's Amendment number 12?
That's the one that basically destroyed the Electoral College.
I looked it up earlier.
Yeah, and don't forget the Anti-Federalists as well. The Federalists explain the constitutional system we have.
Mm-hmm.
The Anti-Federalists expose some of the weaknesses of the thinking. The Federalists did not want a Bill of Rights. We have a Bill of Rights, and thank God we have that Bill of Rights.
Mm-hmm.
They also talked about the brightest and the most gifted people would come up into government. I haven't seen that. I've seen some greed. I've seen self-interest. I've seen other less than idealistic people coming into government, and the Anti-Federalists have warned about that. So if you do read the Federalists, there's good information why the president's 4 years and why Senate's 6 years and why judges are for terms of good behavior. You get all of that. But the anti-federalists show some of the the concern thought just going into that system, and I think we need to heed some of that advice as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you ready for my third list?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's do these
Yeah,
lists.
I have six short-term tasks or areas to work on. Peace. We need to show up and be the peace bringers of the world, not the bringers of war. We have that whole focus, and it sounds daunting, but I think that attitude will ring with the people, and we can do that in less than 2 years. We also have to restore the role of the sovereign states. The Federalist Papers, particularly 41 through 47, talk about the shared power between the new federal government, the Union, and the sovereign states. That has been obliterated. Amendments 16 and 17, 1913 are basically the demise of the sovereign states. We need to remedy that. We need to come up with a congressional policy on immigration. And that is not a comprehensive plan. That's an area of agreement. So it's what we can get as a minimum that people agree on, because if we go with a Democratic plan, comprehensive, as soon as they lose power, the comprehensive Republican plan comes in. We do a huge political pendulum. We lost ground and we just increased tension. So if we go slow and steady and do what we can agree to, we can make progress on immigration. We also need to have a federal budget. Congress has been not doing that for decades. And if you're a homeowner or a business owner, I don't know how you run a household or a business without a budget. And I don't know how you spend $5 trillion without a budget, even though it should be closer to $1 trillion. Our current system of classified documents needs to go away. We, the people, are the power. We, the people, should know what our representatives see. We, the people, should ask and be given that information.
Mm-hmm.
The lone exception to that would be troops in an actual war that's declared by Congress. Their safety is more important than our need to know. But then when they reach the objective, any request from the press or a free citizen should get that information displayed, because we've already achieved that military objective. And last but not least, inflation needs to be taken care of. It is being addressed. It was up at 9%. It's closer to 2.5% now, but it's still way too high. I think there are things that Congress can do to rein in the Federal Reserve that will help, and then just anything that the government does to create scarcity, like shutting down pipelines and things like that, need to go away and then free up the economy. So the lessons of COVID hopefully have been learned, that we can't shut down the economy, and the increased price of everything because of increased transportation costs. Hopefully we're learning that lesson, that we need to open up our energy markets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to bring all that to Washington if elected.
All right. Do you have, for some of those, like those short-term goals, do you have like a step-by-step plan for each one of those? Or is this more of a, let's get in the room and let's actually sit down and talk about this first?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have to be on in the workplace of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
They're certainly better. I mean, runaway inflation versus having control on things. Taking care of a crisis at our border is better than just letting the crisis go on. So I plan to try and caucus by specific topics
Mm-hmm.
to learn about people who are on our side of the issue and build coalitions. There's got to be people that are lovers of peace instead of war. There have to be advocates for the sovereign states.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be somebody that's going to say, yes, we need a plan for immigration that everybody can agree to. we as Congress have to have a budget. We have to have a plan on how we're spending these trillions of dollars. There's got to be people that says we need to know what happened in the Kennedy assassination. Um, all of that stuff. There's going to be partners that I can talk to, and it's kind of like our libertarian struggle. We're trying to get legitimacy with percent of ballot and things like that. And
Mhm.
there's just going to be a critical mass. There's going to be a time where the peace lovers, those who abhor war, will gain the attention, and we can make inroads that way. Um, can I do that in one Congress? Will it take me two? It better not take me three, because that's the end of the road.
Mhm.
I plan to only serve three times if elected, and then let some younger man or some other person with a little more energy take over at that point. But
So you're not in favor of these politicians who have been in Congress for 30 plus years?
no,
Since
absolutely not. Um,
1971.
Yeah.
if you go back and read the Federalist Papers again, the intention was for men of renown, and now, because our society's changed, women of renown and
Mhm.
accomplishment, to step forward, do their civic duty, and then go back to the private life.
Mhm.
And I think George Washington is a beautiful example of that. He was elected general of the Continental Army. He said he was elected president unanimously, the only two times in our history. And he could have been king of the United States. And he said, no, I've served my time. It's time to go home and enjoy the fruits of my labor and retire in Mount Vernon. So I think that model is viable. I think it's necessary. I don't think that people who are self aggrandizing or looking for their own good should be there more than 6 years
Mhm.
for House of Representatives, and maybe two terms for a senator. But legislation to say limit term limits are not going to work, because people in power won't give it up.
Oh, no, not at
Right.
all.
But we, the people, have that power already. If you see somebody's an incumbent and been there more than 6 years, don't vote for him or her.
Mhm.
We have the power today.
Yeah, as a prime example of that, the last town I was in, they voted for term limits. I think it was in 2019. They didn't have any for city council before that. Then, I kid you not, the next election, there were signs up that said "Vote for term limits," because the current council members and the mayor wanted to extend term limits. But the whole ruse was, well, you have to vote for term limits because we don't have them right now. Well, we do.
We do.
We just don't want to give up our terms. So
Well, we need to be vigilant and say you've been there long enough,
yeah,
even if the letter behind your name is the right letter.
yep. Stop
Give,
Exactly.
stop voting
give
them in.
somebody else a chance,
Yep.
like an L. Give us an L, right? Put L's out there.
That's right. So do you bring any specific skills to Congress? I know a lot of politicians that are currently sitting in Congress, with the exception of a few, are career politicians.
Right.
That was what their education was. That's what they've known their entire life. And well, of course, I don't know of any career libertarian politicians. Um,
Not yet. Not yet.
so what does Mike Kolls bring to the game here?
Well, currently I'm working as a project manager.
Mm-hmm.
I think the deliberate work the list, check with people, hold on to it like a bulldog till you get the work done.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we have a shared vision, we agree on the definitions, we search for those common ground, small increments, and just get it done. I am overly deliberate. I'm at times pedantic, so I will not let a detail go. I will make sure that I have the right definitions and the right charges, and I'll lead my caucus, my small party up the hill when we have a charge to go. So, also, I want to say, I'm not a career politician. I think, man, there's a lot of people there that do have a real concern as a citizen. They do believe in the Constitution,
Hmm.
and they really don't want to divide and conquer and pit us against each other. And I want to find those people that are really looking for the good of what the government can do for the people to set up a system of success and not just give them everything that'll buy a vote.
I appreciate that.
We definitely need more people like that.
Like, and I like the very structured approach that you are coming from, because like that is like in my brain I wish I could be like that, but I am a little chaotic, and so like someone like that shares a vision, like, but structured, I'm there for it.
Yeah, and then I've got my baggage. I was a computer programmer before then, so that's even more. Make sure you get all the nuts and bolts in the right place, and then test, make sure that what you're doing works. So I bring that as well, even though it's a little bit rusty.
it's, it's still better than what we have right now.
That's what I'm banking on.
Yeah. So you mentioned definitions matter. I think from what I see in the political landscape, whether it's the Libertarian Party, the Republican Party, the Democrats, or anybody else, definitions are hard. Um, that no two people can agree on the same thing for the same word. So we talk about immigration, we talk about parental rights, we talk about all these different things. So definitions, being able to go forward and say, this is the definition of what I'm talking about. This is what
Right.
it means to me. This is so that everybody's on the same page. Instead of just shouting past each other with everybody having
Right.
their own
Hmm.
definitions and not even talking about the same thing. So I think that sounds like something that, again, more people need to be doing.
And the word democracy probably has a different definition in Democratic circles,
Hmm.
Republican circles, and Libertarian circles. And
Absolutely.
we need to talk about returning to a republic and throw out all the democracy talk.
Hmm.
So if you read Federalist number 10, it says democracies are short in their lives and violent in their deaths. I don't want a democracy. I don't
Hmm.
want mob rule. I don't want 50% plus one telling the other 49.9%. And then we switch sides after an election. We don't need a democracy. We need a republic where the people are engaged with what's going on and they send good people to do their business. So we really need to restore our republic and not worry about democracy because it ends in violence.
Yeah, and Amanda and I were just talking about this earlier today, that the winner take all laws in the nation, where it is 50 plus 1% is telling the rest of the country what they can and can't do.
Right? Yeah, I would love to see a president say that only veto-proof legislation will get my signature, because then you would have to work together to figure out how to get that two-thirds affirmative vote,
Hmm.
and then you wouldn't go for home runs for your party. You would go for common ground wins for the American people, and you wouldn't, 4 years or 8 years later, you wouldn't have to replay those battles because you've already agreed two-thirds on what could or should be done.
Hmm.
Gonna get all fired up about this
Me too. Let's
51%.
go.
No, it's a little ranty. We'll save that for after hours.
Okay.
After hours and some potential drinks. Who knows?
Are you guys in the North Texas area or where? Or no,
um,
Yep.
I shouldn't talk about that. So we'll talk about that offline.
I'm willing to travel.
Okay.
yeah, I'm actually up in the Collin County area, so
Okay.
not
Not
too
too
far
far
from
away.
not too
Right.
far from you.
Okay.
Um,
Before we go on, I want to talk about these empty bookshelves.
yes.
I'm not a man vacant of ideas or resources. These are brand new bookshelves. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they?
They
You can
are.
look at them. Yeah, look at that. All the way to the
I like
ceiling.
how tall.
My wife would be
Yeah.
jealous.
So they're only a week old and they're curing. The lacquer is curing on them, but I have boxes of books that will be placed on them in a little over a week. So hopefully you'll see me again, and then you'll see my library if we do this kind of thing again. So
Oh,
don't
we
let the
have
empty
to.
bookshelves
Hmm.
distract you.
So, what kind of books go on your bookshelf?
Well, of course, political theory, right?
Ooh.
I've got all kinds of stuff on the founders. I just found a 6 volume set on Thomas Jefferson, going from his time as a Virginian, focusing on the needs of the colony of Virginia, all the way through his second presidency. Recently found Winston Churchill's The History of the English Speaking People. So that'll give me a guidance on how some of the Constitution came in. We're basically a product of English common law. And some of those decisions we just kind of brought forward with us. Read a lot of biographies, try and figure out how the people of history made history, why they're able to do what they did. I'm also a man of faith, so I've got some books on theology to keep myself grounded,
Hmm.
to understand that part of what makes me Mike Kolls, Kolls. And then, got some books on sports heroes and I think a top libertarian hot topic. Got a couple books on cannabis, so I'm going to be a little smarter about understanding some of the science about that and be able to speak to that. Those are on my to be read list. Um,
I for sure have some people, if you want, like, that actually study, like, that stuff, like, not just smoke weed, but like actually study cannabis and advocate for that. If you ever want to chat with somebody, I can point them in
oh,
your
there's
direction.
plenty of people in North Texas.
Okay.
I have sources already. But The Emperor Has No Clothes. There's a couple other books that some people that I know said really tell the story. So
Hmm.
I don't know the story yet, but I think that's a discussion I need to be a little better equipped on.
Awesome. Let's see here. I'm just going through a list of some of the questions that we've got curated here.
He's answered everything.
I know. I'm like, oh, well, ask him that. No, he answered that one. No, answer that one. Yeah, I think you're like the lists that you came with, like your prepared lists that you're when you get into Congress. I mean, that knocked out like half of our questions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it since 2012, campaigning on it since
Hmm.
2014. And if I have to run again in 2026, I don't think my message is going to change a whole lot.
Hmm.
It is focused on rule of law. It is focused on we the people.
Hmm.
It is big focus on just trimming government. I mean, we're spending $5 trillion, or the president asked for $5 trillion. And really, if we give the social programs to the states,
Hmm.
we can run a federal government for less than $1 trillion.
Hmm.
And that basically brings decisions locally. Uh, how do you care for the people in Texas is going to be different than how you care for the people in California.
Absolutely.
And a one size fits all federal program is doomed to fail because half of the country is against it.
Yep.
And if Texas has a different program for the elderly than California, praise God.
Yeah.
It's good. It will serve the people better.
Yeah.
And healthcare, because Colorado is a healthy young state, does not need to worry about healthcare, whereas Florida does. So a national program that would help the people of Florida is going to be a huge burden to the citizens of Colorado.
Hmm.
And as we do these experiments on a local level, hopefully governors are talking to each other.
Hmm.
We did this didn't work. We incurred all kinds of debt, we've got all kinds of social problems. This did not work. and don't repeat it in your state. What are you
Mm-hmm.
guys doing? Oh, you did this. You trimmed costs by so much. You got so many people helped. You reduced premature babies. You decreased these other social, maladies. I think we need to try that. And over time, I think our liberty message is going to be what drives all that.
Mm-hmm.
Let we the people solve the problems. Federal government, make sure the states play nice with each other. Make sure we have peace treaties around the world. Make sure we have a stable monetary system. Make sure the structures that most of us take for granted and are already in place don't disintegrate, and let us live our lives. I mean, that's the vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Um, all right. Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm
We
trying to
need
go
to
through these.
make sure we direct people to his website.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to reach every people, because the ideas are there,
Mm-hmm.
the libertarian mind frame, the thinking, um, is so irresistible.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want to make your own decision for retirement,
Mm-hmm.
for health care, for where you work, what you do, who you spend your time with? Who wants to be told how to do all that?
Mm-hmm.
And then, somebody tells you, then the other half's going to be upset because we didn't get to make our decisions. So, um, trim the government, we the people, limited government. That's it. That's the magic sauce.
Yep. All right. So as far as your campaign, then, so you're going to be doing some you're looking to do some road traveling there.
Yes.
Um, do you need help with boots in the ground? Do you need donations? So what can the viewers do? What can the party do? What else can we do to help you get the message out there?
Any kind of contact at all. You have
Mm-hmm.
radio, TV contacts, libertarians in Amarillo.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a chance to get a toehold, and then I've got to find the time to go.
Yeah.
I've got
Well, I
a
think we've.
40+ hour a week job. I've got a
Mm-hmm.
wife. I've got other interests.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to fit that in and make it a priority. So I don't know, maybe take some Friday day flyers out to Amarillo, which is about 240 miles away. Hang out in a diner. I don't know. Just
Well,
just meet some people and hand out business cards and get them to the website. Tell them if you like what you heard, you like what you see. Tell a friend. Tell two friends. And you all are too young to remember the wheat, turmoil, and honey commercial. They tell two friends, and
mm-hmm.
then the screen splits up. There's two people. Then they'll tell two friends, and
Right.
it's four. And they'll tell their friends, it's 8, 16. Just word of mouth. If you like what you see, share it. Because unless people hear about our thinking, we're not going to get beyond the 5 to 7% we normally get.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we have a county affiliate that's up in Amarillo?
I feel like at least close to that because I know that one of our select members is close to Amarillo. Two of our select
Yeah.
members, actually.
I have a gentleman who is running for the Texas Board of
Jack.
Education
It's
somewhere.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack is out there somewhere.
Yep.
He
And
and I are
Bernard is that direction too.
okay. Yeah, we've exchanged a few emails, but we haven't made pledges or plans to meet
Mm-hmm.
and campaign together. But I know he's out that way. I got
Jack's a
some.
good dude.
Yep.
I've got some. A couple mother-in-laws, a couple of father-in-laws of people we know here in Wichita Falls that are out that way. So try and get out there, at least meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe go to a Lions Club, a Rotary Club, just some public place, and start talking with folks.
Yeah, so I definitely think that. So if you head out to the LP Texas website, we do have like an events page. So if you
Okay.
do make your way out into that area, you can submit events so that they'll show up on the LP Texas website. Then that
Okay.
lets our comms team know that, hey, there's an event going on out here, so we can start promoting those events.
Fantastic.
Yes. And I can even send out email blasts to where you're going. So,
Okay. Yeah, I would love to have a contact in one of the major cities in the media and
Hmm.
say, I'm hitting the road.
Hmm.
On Tuesday, I'm going to stop in this county. I'm going to have lunch here. I'm going to have dinner at another place. I'm going to hang out at the library, um, and just see what people show up.
Hmm.
That would be ideal. But absent meeting the media or getting a little help from the media,
yeah.
I'm just got to put myself out there somehow.
And
No,
some,
help how I can.
yep, yep. And sometimes that's all we can do. Or,
That's right. It's a big district, but I'm gonna travel it at least.
Yeah. So
all right,
kollsforcongress.org.
KOLLS, yes, KollsForCongress.org.
all right, all right. Well, Amanda, do you have any more questions for Mike? Or Mike, do you have anything else that you want to talk about or bring up? Let everybody know.
No, not really. I went through my three lists. That's my arsenal.
Hmm.
Uh, and hopefully, libertarians know I'm a friend of liberty. And if folks outside of the two dominant parties wander out here, hopefully they know they have a friend for
Hmm.
liberty, and we can win some hearts and minds.
Yes,
All right. Well,
love it.
well, thank you for joining us. Good luck in your race.
Right.
And for all of the viewers out there, this is Mike Kolls, kollsforcongress.org. Stay tuned. We'll have
KO.
KOLLS. Yeah, I didn't mess it up that time.
Right.
We plan on having many more candidates out there. You can check out our LP Texas YouTube page to, just people like Mike and other ones that are running for Congress, running for House. We are more than just a two-party system. We're not two sides of the same coin. We are people that actually cherish freedom and liberty. So thank you all for watching. And again,
Thank you,
Mike.
Nathan and Amanda. I appreciate the
Thank
time.
you.
All right. Thank you. All right. And y'all have a good one.
All right.